You're here. I'm guessing this lantern rite is the same as every year. The demons have retreated, and the humans are safe and well. If Pervasi's knew, it would be a lifelong wish come true for him. I trust you're not here to invite me to watch the fireworks in the city. I think I'll be fine right here. As long as the fireworks fly high enough, you can see them from wherever you are. Besides, if anyone wishes to see me, I know they'll come and find me. So whether I'm here or in the city, it makes no difference.
What did you think of this year's fireworks display? I just hope this festival can be everything that people want it to be. Really? I hope you're not just saying that to reassure me. I want you to be straight with me if you have any suggestions. Anyway, if you have any time during the festival, take a look around the city. There's a lot to see, but it won't last, so make the most of it. If only I had a little more free time. I'd love to take you around and show you everything we did to make the city look special during the festival.
Okay, so we have one group booked for 2 tables for a banquet tomorrow night, and another group who needs their order delivered around the same time. Whew. Oh, hey! Happy Lantern Rite! Could be worse, could be worse. Festivals are always a little busy, you know how it is. If you're craving anything off the one-man menu, don't worry about being a burden. However busy it gets, I'll always make time to cook for you.
That party was a real blast. You know you had a good time when you ended up singing a little too hard and straining your voice.
Seems I've caused you all sorts of trouble. Sorry it's been so tough on you.
Are you kidding me? I got to go out on the ocean with you and celebrate the festival with y'all. Couldn't have asked for more. Best lantern rite ever! I was gonna ask, though, now that your crew is all back home with their families, aren't you gonna get bored on your own?
Not a chance. Just yesterday I got an invitation to play some chess. Said I can head up for a game whenever I'm down to play.
Head up? Oh, right. You mean to the Jade Chamber.
Moving on. When you're feeling better, we should grab some food together. Lantern Rite only comes once a year, and I, for one, intend to make the most of it.
Another Lantern Rite is upon us. Traveler, it seems Li Yué has a way of drawing you back every once in a while. Do you miss it here? Is that so? I am delighted to hear it. Times change. Suddenly, the Lantern Rite of today is a wholly different affair from the past. The preparations were very lengthy this time. I don't know if it's to everyone's taste, but I, for one, am most satisfied with the way it has turned out. I hope that it might be a highlight of your journey. If you ever grow weary in your travels, know that you can always come back and visit Li Yué.
Well, hello there. A happy and healthy Lantern Rite to you. And what brings you here on this finest of days? Not business, I presume. So what is it? Need my help? Oh, I see. So you just missed me all of a sudden? Oh, you? Why'd you have to go and be so thoughtful, I couldn't possibly bring myself to scare you with a ghost story now. To tell the truth, this Lantern Rite's been a busy one for me. I got Syao's Ling to give me a few recipes, and I've been trying my hand at them. Since you're here, why don't you have a taste? What's that look for? You're not leaving already, are you? Oh, come on, don't go. I promise they don't taste that bad, and I promise it's not a prank.
Happy Lantern Rite. How have you been recently? I hope everything's going well for you. Don't be like me, worrying all the time. Oh, it's nothing though. Just... As you can see, there's a lot going on during the Lantern Rite, and I was originally supposed to head back to Yujing Terrace to assist with the preparations. However, Lady Ningguang urged me to take a proper vacation. She said that there's nothing so urgent that it can't wait, and that this festival is a time to reconnect with friends and family. But if I really spent this vacation with Cloud Retainer, it wouldn't be long before she started asking me, "How has your career developed this year? Any new crushes one should know about?" Yes, I can handle overtime, but not that. Besides that, I do feel better getting some of this off my chest. So, thank you for being here and listening to me.
Oh, I didn't expect to run into you in Jinxa Village of all places. Thanks for your concern. I'm touched. A few days ago, Granny Roshin invited me to come out here and give a performance. It's mostly old folks and children who live out this way, so I didn't know whether it would be to their tastes. But everyone seemed to enjoy it, so I'm very proud of myself. She was a famous opera singer in her youth, too. She's still got it if you ask me. In show business, while you're on stage, you constantly have to be in control of everything you're doing to manage your image. So when you're off stage, it's a relief to finally loosen up a little. I have some excellent tea here. Would you care to stay for some refreshments before you depart? Watching the Xiao lanterns from the village is quite a unique experience in its own right. If you'd like, I can tell you all about it.
With everything that's happened on the way here, I feel like we're forgetting something.
Chongyun, just look at the stunning scenery of Jinxa Village. If I could sum it up in one word, would you say exquisite does it justice? I think that.
I remember now. What about the demons? Quick, Xingqiu, get the ancient texts out. There isn't a moment to lose.
Careful now, Chongyun. Let's not rush into this. Just as tea is to be imbibed one sip at a time, these things must be done step by step. If we are too hasty and end up with enemies on all sides, even we, with our level of martial prowess, may find ourselves overpowered.
You do have a point. All right then. I'll take you at your word. Again.
Excellent. Now then, what was I talking about? Now I've lost my train of thought. Help me, Chongyun. What was I saying?
I've forgotten too.
Bye Zhu. I want to go on the roof to watch the fireworks. It's high up there. I don't want to disturb the finches down on the ground.
Don't worry, Chi-Chi. Finches just fly away as a precaution whenever they hear footsteps approaching. It's not because they're scared. We can't stay here for too long, I'm afraid. We still have patients to visit.
Okay. Patients are more important. Don't mind, Chi-Chi.
The busy period will die down after the festival ends, and then I'll take you wherever you want to go. Promise. Okay, Chi-Chi?
Let me write that down in my notebook.
All right. Here's your pen.
Perfect timing. Let me make some space for you. There. Look. Isn't that an amazing view? I can never get tired of it. Yep, I got a letter from my dad. He said all is well with him and Mom on their travels and wished me and Granny a happy lantern ride. So typical of my dad. He wrote the exact same thing last year. It's like his go-to lantern rite greeting. But hey, I guess he doesn't overthink these things, and that's where I get my carefree side from too. Look at me. I've taken a few days vacation just so I can enjoy the view. Oh, this reminds me. I should mention you when I write back. When you meet interesting new people, you've got to share it with your family.
The Yue Harbor by night is even brighter than Mount Aocang by day. I couldn't get used to this view at first, but I'm told this is how it always looks at the lantern rite. I guess everyone likes brightly lit places, because every time you mention Lantern Rite, people can't help but smile. Like this. Look. Will you be staying here for good now? Oh, I see. Well, it's nice to see you. If Lantern Rite could continue indefinitely, that would be even better.
Oh, you're here. I do apologize. Another matter was occupying my mind just now. Han Feng's Ironmongers has a long history. Ownership has been passed down from generation to generation, and today it is known as the most reputable blacksmith in the land. The art of forging prizes precision and diligence. The tasks of forging weapons and processing ore require a great deal of time and patience. To most, the sound of iron being struck with a hammer is loud and intrusive. But to those who appreciate this art form, it is like the toll of a bell, breathtaking and transfixing. The sound of metal clashing with metal causes one to fall quiet, calms one's spirit, focuses one's attention, and then, with a mind emptied of unwanted thoughts, devote oneself fully to the work at hand. Any talent I possess comes not from natural inclination, but out of necessity. In times of war, weapons are indispensable equipment and highly sought after. The wondrous ley lines of Liu produce all manner of exquisite ore. It follows naturally that distinguished artisans and prized wares arise in response. But I have always thought that a craftsman's ingenuity is far more valuable than any precious stone. The most accomplished in their craft do not limit themselves to working exclusively with rare ores. Well, traveler, after your long sojourn in Liu, I trust you will have heard of the houses of Kun and Yun. The House of Kun is a long-established name in the art of forging. To this day, their descendants continue their craft. The House of Yun did not limit themselves to this craft. They branched out into many different disciplines and districts. Their descendants today still uphold the work ethic taught within their family for generations. Even ostensible perfection can oft be improved upon through diligence. This has contributed towards their excellence in numerous fields. Ah, so you are acquainted with Miss Yun? Yes. The talented Yun Jin of Liu operatic fame is indeed a descendant of the historic House of Yun. Her ancestors changed professions long ago. It was her father's generation that dedicated themselves to the performing arts. In this day and age, the Yun family's history has been forgotten, and nobody knows of the connection they once had to the art of forging. The evolution of families over the ages has been a profound force in shaping Liu's history. While you're here, if you have the time, you may find learning about the human history of Liu to be illuminating. Much that you might want to know can be found in books. Even books change over the generations, causing discrepancies between their contents and the historical facts. But books can function as a mirror for humanity. Reading is the noblest of pastimes. There is always some benefit to be derived. Ah, I wondered if I might run into you again. This makes the third day in a row. Perhaps it is fate rather than coincidence. Yes. After our conversation yesterday, I thought I might visit the book house and see what constitutes popular literature these days. Indeed. Traveler, do you know anything of the origins of books in Liu? First, people ground wood into pulp to make paper. For ease of reading, they began binding sheets together to make what we now call books. Later, they developed movable type printing to improve the speed and quality of production. Eventually, the technology developed to the point where books like those we see here can easily be produced in great quantities. There has been a proliferation of literary genres and works since that time. Traveler, Is there any book from Li Yué that has made a particularly strong impression on you? Oh, so you've read it too. The author does not lack for ideas. Sometimes they move in strange directions, and even I cannot claim to fully understand their meaning. But it makes for fresh and interesting reading material, a lot like reading somebody else's biography. Gods and adepti are far removed from the mortal experience. That they are difficult to portray in writing is no surprise. It is true that the Geo-Archon Morax would journey in the mortal realm from time to time. But there was not quite so much ostentatious shape-shifting as the books would have you believe. When the goal is to wander the streets undetected, donning an overly elaborate disguise is somewhat self-defeating. Such discrepancies illustrate the difference between history as it happened and folk accounts based on hearsay. The value of reading accounts penned by others is in the chance to view the world through their eyes. It is very often an unfamiliar sight, though never an uninteresting one. Ah, yes. A memorable work indeed. I have heard that this is an unpopular book due to its often impenetrable prose, and yet the yakshas described in it are real historical figures. They were loyal servants of Li Yué. They lived through a bitter war and sacrificed much. All of Li Yué, from harbor to chasm, is indebted to the yakshas for their protection over the years. I believe you have seen one of these yakshas in the flesh. Yes. These days he often appears at Dihua Marsh. He is given to solitude, but I suspect that he would not turn away a reliable companion such as yourself. Should you happen to see him, please, pass on my season's greetings. Where the clear blue water runs into the sky, and an ocean of silver grass stretches out before the eye. That was written about Dihua Marsh. From an altitude, the sight of reeds on the water rustling gently in the breeze is indeed a sight beautiful beyond compare. Wangshu Inn is located in the heart of Dihua Marsh and provides the finest in both food and scenery. It is no wonder that travelers are fond of staying here. But Wangshu Inn is no mere guest house. It was built tall to provide superior visibility for surveying the surrounding terrain. And it was built here, on this road, because it is one of the main routes for traffic into the region. This is a strategic location that must be defended at all costs. Yes, that is one of the primary reasons that he frequents the inn. Looking southeast from here, one can see all the way to Guyun Stone Forest. With gods lying sealed beneath those rocks, the area is frequently afflicted with monster activity. Chao often goes back and forth between here and Guyun. Being constantly on the move must be tiring for him. My purpose in coming here was to give him a few words of comfort, but to my surprise, I did not find him on the roof. Perhaps so. Nevertheless, this trip was by no means a waste. Besides, there shall be no shortage of opportunities to meet in the future. On the subject of Wangshu Inn, a chef here is highly talented. If I recall correctly, there was a cooking competition hosted in Li Yué Harbor during the Moon Chase Festival. This chef was selected to represent the Dihua Marsh region, entered the finals, and took second prize. Culinary excellence should always be shared far and wide. Being up so high reminds me of another lofty location. Yes, one that the Adepti once took control of, long ago. It then fell into disuse. Whether anyone tends to it these days, I do not know. All right then. That is where I shall go tomorrow. Here above the clouds, where the moon sets and the sun rises before your eyes, one's sense of time becomes indistinct. Indeed. You have encountered her several times, correct? You possess a wealth of knowledge and experience, and you have goodness in your heart. Naturally, you are able to have friendly interactions with her. Cloud Retainer is an expert in the mechanical arts and an avid inventor. Generous and kind, honest and forthright. I treasure her as both a friend and teacher, the likes of whom are hard to come by. An old friend once said to me that if you ever have a question on the most trivial of affairs, 2 hours conversing with Cloud Retainer will leave you better informed than 3 days and nights talking to every soul in the harbor. Traveler, would you say you agree? Yes, Cloud Retainer does not waste words, but this is no bad thing. She may say that she prefers to keep her distance from the mortal realm, but in fact, she cares deeply for humanity. I believe I have gazed at the mountains long enough. Time for a change of scenery. Tomorrow. Yes. Perhaps I will head further north. Chingsa village is one of the more populated places outside of the harbor. I think I shall go there. Compared to the constant hubbub of Liyue Harbor, it is far more serene here. It is a pleasant and leisurely atmosphere, not unfit for a festival. On the way over, I saw grandparents preparing meals, children learning to make Xiao lanterns. It was quite nostalgic for me. It took me back to the very earliest days of Liyue's history. Back then, most able-bodied adults were busy supporting the war effort or helping to build the city. Like now, the oldest and youngest supported each other, living humble lives. Indeed, their lives were not easy. But the people of Liyue have tenacity and optimism in their bones. They will never stop striving for progress, no matter how much destitution they face. In ancient times, Chingsa village was once ravaged by the Chu. It is now several thousand years since it was put to rest. Over the millennia, people built dwellings and worked the fertile land, creating the spectacular view we now see today. That after it died, its body became the rocky mountains and flowing waters of Chingsa. I too have heard this story. The idea is captivating, though I'm afraid it is pure fantasy. Lofty mountains have stood, and spring water has flowed here since time immemorial. That people now inhabit this place is solely because they have toiled to make it so. Chingsa's verdant hills and stunning waters, paired with the tranquil atmosphere here, make it a place of extraordinary beauty. A rare blessing indeed. Oh, one of the villagers generously gifted me with some fresh bamboo shoots. They will add some seasonal flavor to a meal on my return to Liyue Harbor. Seasonal bamboo shoots are yet another rare blessing offered by Chingsa village. This year's Xiao lanterns and fireworks seem more exquisite than ever. Yes, after a most worthwhile journey. Had I not heeded your advice, I fear I may have missed out on the scenes I saw. Thank you, traveler. Liyue's beauty always gladdens my heart. There is everything from the graceful to the grandiose, from serenity to splendor. And the ways in which the sights of Liyue stir the heart, they must be seen to be experienced. The people of Liyue today are busier than ever before. Yet still, they head home when the festival season comes, no matter how long the journey takes, just for the chance to sit around the stove and share a joyful time with their loved ones. Even a glimpse of Liyue's scenery on their homeward journey can serve to comfort their spirits. Traveler, this view belongs to you as much as to anyone else. Though your journey ahead may be long and much awaits for you to accomplish, I hope that each time you return to Liyue, sights such as these will put your mind at ease. A safe haven between the mountains. A warm glow that guides you out from a dense forest. Like the stars in the sky, may the lights of this city always shine for you, traveler. Even from beyond the clouds.